Today, I want to show you the very basics of getting started to create blog posts on your site. This demo, of course, is in the WordPress platform. So it's going to show you how to create those articles. People call them posts or blogs on a site, and some of the basic things that you can do to publish something, what it might look like. So the two major parts that I would suggest that you have when you're going to create a blog post are, number one, the text that you have written for that blog post. A lot of people these days write it in something else, like on Google Drive, especially with all the AI services and things like that on there. That's a really good place to keep your articles. That way you have it all written and you can just copy and paste it into your WordPress site. Although some people do go ahead and actually write in the editor on the site, and that is really up to you. The other major thing that I would suggest you have when creating a blog post for your site is to have at least one image that goes along with it. Nowadays, you see a lot of different blog posts that have a lot of different features to them, like different modules or blocks that they're called in designing the site. And so you can go and get very creative in terms of what it might actually look like. So here's just an example of a blog post on my site in particular about branding, how to use your logo. And you can see mine is formatted where I have the blog content on the left and then a sidebar on the right. Although your page layout can be different, we do talk about that in other parts of the course. But you can see these sections here. All of this information here is the text that we have about our blog post. And then sometimes we have these other blocks on the site where you can invite somebody to take a different action with you, such as if you're asking for them to do something in the post or you're referring to a certain product that you have or an affiliate link. You can certainly go ahead and include designs and things like that that link to something like that. But this just gives you an idea of what a blog post might look like. So here's one image, like I suggest you have at least on the site, and that should be in a Pinterest size image, which at the time of recording this is about 1000 by 1500 size, although sometimes that does vary a little bit in terms of what a Pinterest image size is designed at. You can find the latest either on Pinterest or on Canva for that. But it also has, of course, just additional text for the blog post itself, and then some other ways for people to kind of just engage with you or get in touch. These are things that you can add now or you can add later in your blog post, but just to give you an idea of how dynamic a blog post can really look like on your site. And it's not just a stream of only text that people are just reading. So let's walk through an example of a site that I will show you about creating a blog post from scratch on. So the first thing we're going to do is go to the media library and add new. And we're going to upload two files that we have just created, blog post images, pin size images that I will be using inside the site for the blog design layout section. So those are the two that we have. And then we can go over to posts. So the post section of your site is where you have all of the list of the blog posts that you've created. So this will show you anything that you've written, anything that you want to, all the blog posts that you're seeing, including who's written them, if you have others on your team that write, the categories that you have set up, the tags for the posts, and when it's published by. So you can do a lot of things here. You can edit these, you can quickly edit them, which allows you to change a couple features on them. You can throw them away, of course, in the trash if you wanted to delete a post. I suggest you create a redirect first and you can view that post, of course. But say we're starting again from scratch and we're going to go to add new blog post. So the first thing you want to do, of course, is add the title for what you are going to be calling this blog post. Now, there's a lot of information around this in terms of what a post should be titled and how to get the best search engine optimization out of blog posts. We go into that a little bit here in the course. You can always look to see what our best and most recent practices in terms of creating posts that really will get found online and that are going to help drive traffic specifically to your site. So say we type in the title of this, and I want to go ahead right away and save the draft. When you come over here on the right-hand section, if you don't have this sidebar available, you're going to just click that little button right there that shows the sidebar. You can add it or not here, and some different features that you can do to the site itself. There's post settings about what the page looks like. If here's where you can add those sidebars like I had mentioned. what the content looks like for the site. Some of these you can play with, but I do suggest you keep the page layout of your site pretty consistent for people visiting. And then there's some other options, of course, of things that you might want to do. But mainly we're going to use this setting section right here. And we're going to click on post. This is one particular area you want to pay attention to on the blog post itself is the URL. So here, this is what the website address will be for this particular blog post when we go ahead and publish it. Sometimes people write much longer titles, and you will see those words continued here in a string on this. You can very well go ahead and shorten that. Some people have different formats for what they title their blog posts. Maybe you're doing something like you're putting podcast episodes on here and you're just going to put a number there. That can certainly work as well. But I do suggest that you keep that relatively simple and succinct, probably no more than 5 or 6 words on there to have it actually be the URL for the blog post that you're talking about. So we've put in our title, we saved it as a text, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to go over to our Google document where we have all of our text already written specifically for this blog post we have. It's relatively straightforward. There are some sections in it that have headings and some shorter paragraphs, which is a design and writing element you want to keep in mind so that it really does help somebody reading your site have a little bit of an easier time moving around and doing things. And so we are going to go ahead and highlight the text we want to use. We're going to copy it. And then we're going to just make sure that our cursor is right inside the initial block right there, which is where we get to type or add design elements to our site. And we're going to paste it in. And so this right here will be for all of the information that we're going to have on this blog post. Now you can see, of course, you can go ahead right away and edit it. And what's really nice about this is it actually pulled the formatting from Google Drive, from the Google Doc, right into the blog post itself. So you can get your cursor in here and edit of these things. You can add images in between, which we'll do in a second. And mainly you can see the titles and things like that we have written specifically for this post. So this is nice because you see the difference here. This is an H2 heading. This one down here is a little different. This is an H3 heading in your site. It's nice to give it some variety, but again, think about the experience of someone coming to read this and what they found and how you can make it appealing for them. So we're going to go ahead and insert an image into this blog post, one of the ones that we've had. I'll show you how to either do that or to upload thing. So let's just get in there and type a return. To type, it says here, the / to choose a block. You can go ahead and do that on your keyboard. And here we're going to type an image. And so let's do an advanced image. That gives us a lot more features in terms of what the image looks like. And we can go either select image or insert from a URL. If by chance you host your photo somewhere else besides your site, we can go ahead and select that. So right away, this will bring up the media library. You can choose any of the images that you have in your media library that you have on the site itself. But I'll just show you, so we could choose one of these, but let me just show you how to upload the file. You can go ahead and select the file right there. You're just going to want to find it anywhere on your computer. Go ahead and click open. It'll load for a second. And then what I do highly suggest when you're creating blog posts and adding images like this is you do put something in for the alt text. This is how to describe the purpose of the image and is very important for accessibility and people that can't well see the images. You want to describe what's on it. So we're going to put here a woman with a podcast mic. And that should describe it. You can also put some information more about your name or SEO things in there. You can edit a caption, but I don't necessarily just suggest that you add a caption to this image because it will show a piece of text below the photo on the site, although you're welcome to do that. And then you can go ahead and move that over. Go ahead and select that image and insert it in the post. We want to make sure that it's centered. So we're going to click on it and we're going to edit our little bar up here and pick the align center part. This allows you to do some different things with the image too. You can link it to something if you wanted. You can crop it right from here. You can replace the image if you wanted to as well. And if you had a caption, it would most likely appear under the image itself as well. So we're going to save that again since we already put in our text and our image. And then we're going to see if we can add another block here to the site to add in one of our opt-ins, because we want to make sure that when people are getting to read our blog post, that they also get to learn other information about us, that they could opt into our email list or take an action on the site that we're looking for them to do. So we're just going to go to the bottom, and up here in the navigation kind of bar along the top, we're going to click that blue plus. This gives us all of the block patterns that are available for us for creating on your site, either on pages itself or in blog posts itself. So we can have blocks, we can add patterns, which are actually full pages that are now available. Or we're going to click this little triangle kind of diamond shape square here that says reusable. So we have an opt-in here that's already created in our reusable account. So we're going to go ahead and click that one, close our inserter section. And there we have a new section here to the blog. If we click on this, it'll highlight the whole actual row layout for us. And then we can move this around on the site if we wanted to. So say you wanted to do something like you wanted it to be above something, you can go ahead and do that. You can edit some sizing from here if you wanted for the top and the bottom. But usually you can move things around like this on the site. We can move our paragraphs around. We can click on these and just make them in different places on the site if we wanted to. So it's really up to you of what you want to format the blog post to look like and what kind of elements you want to have in it. So let's go ahead and save that draft again. What you can do before you actually do publish it is to go ahead and preview it. Let's do that in a new tab so that we can see what it looks like when we create our blog post. So here's what we have for what the post will look like. We have the title of it. We have the author, which you can change, of course. Then we have all of our content and our text for the actual blog post itself. There's our photo. Going down, there's the rest of the information we've written in the post itself. There's our opt-in that we added as a different kind of element block on the site. And then there's the bottom. So that is what our preview will look like. Let me just go over and do a couple of last minute things to update this post right here. We want to be on the post tab again on the right here. And we're going to go and make sure that we have the right category selected for where this blog post shows up. Obviously on the blog feed itself, but you can have different sections of your site that pull only specific categories of posts, which is a way to organize your information. So say we want to add a new category and we're just going to call it social media. We can go ahead and do that. It gets added to our list. We're going to uncheck uncategorized. I don't suggest you have any posts that are uncategorized. Just looks a little unprofessional, and it is really nice for you to get your information in one of these sections. So you can also then, of course, with blog posts, edit any kind of thing that you might have additionally on your site, such as SEO features or snippets, things like that. And depending on what features you've created or you have on the site to give it some of those different qualities. You can add a featured image to the site, which is a really nice thing to do. We're going to go ahead and select the main image for the site for that itself. And then we can go ahead and do anything else here. You can add an excerpt. You don't have to. That's optional. You can allow or disallow comments and pingbacks, which are trackbacks and links that you want on a site. That's completely up to you. But looks like our settings are all set here. We have our creating engaging content title, and we are going to go ahead and publish this blog post. So we're going to hit save. We're asking it to publish. And there we have it. So let's go take a look at what the site looks like when we go ahead and we scroll down to either the bottom section on the homepage, where I just particularly have a blog feed for this particular site. Here it is right here, catch up on our blog post. And you can see now we have 2 blog posts that people can click to, and that will go right specifically to the post itself. You can create these in the block elements and the designs anywhere on your site. But let's go take a look at actually the blog page itself. These are some things that you can redesign a little bit on your site. You don't have to have some of the navigation here. You can change a lot of the colors and images. And then this is what it looks like when we have our blog posts now set to feed. And it's really great if you're even just launching a site to have it rounded out at 3 and fill in this white space over here. And eventually you will have lots of blog posts showing up on your site, of course, with things that you have written. So there is the very basics of creating a blog post on your site. This one is published. And then when you go ahead and actually go back to your blog section, you will see there the 2 posts that we have so far for this, and it will get ready to add some more. So Hope that helps you with publishing posts on your site.